He was not only an artist, but an extraordinary art collector. He admired and loved classical Chinese art, what we call, good morning, Daniel, what we call literati art. So we have mentioned this kind of art before. It is art that is based on Chinese poetry and Chinese calligraphy. And the artwork often illustrates actual poems. And the artwork goes side by side with the calligraphy that goes with the image. And he loved this kind of art. He venerated it and he collected it. He, in fact, became a professor of art. He loved it so much that he became a professor of this kind of art, studied it so deeply, started practicing it himself, started copying it as a way to honor it and pass it on to his students, which was also a tradition of Chinese art for centuries. That was the way Chinese artists learned. They learned by copying the masters who came before them. And C.C. Wang continued in that tradition. So he was born in Zhuhao, China in 1907. He studied law in Shanghai, and then in 1936 decided to devote himself to art. So we're now going to go to our slideshow. So that while I talk, we can actually look at his artwork. In 1949, he escaped the Chinese Communist Revolution. Oops. He escaped the Chinese Communist Revolution and he emigrated to the United States with his wife and two youngest daughters. He had to leave his son and oldest daughter behind. So this is an example of his later work, very abstract. I'm going to talk more about this later. It is an amalgam or a combination of his love for traditional Chinese art and calligraphy with his love for Western abstract expressionism. He adored brushwork. So Chinese art is based on how artists use the brush. Chinese artists believe that the personality of the artist can be seen in the brush strokes that they use. And C.C. Wang spent his whole life copying the Chinese master's brush strokes. He learned to hold his hand and move his wrist in such a way that he could replicate the exact movement of the artist master's hand and do the exact same brushstroke as the previous master did. Now, he knew it couldn't be exactly the same, but he wanted to try and make it as close as possible. Judy, do you know anything about this tradition? Yes.
Brush paintings and then we were design on landscape, high mountains.
Yes, and we're gonna look at some of those images in the slideshow. And the fact that you could tell immediately by looking at the image who the artist was. And Laura, I'm so sorry, but there's someone trying to get in. Thank you. So this kind of artwork is probably feels very familiar to you But when you learn about more about C.C. Wang and what he was trying to create, it looks like any European abstract or American abstract painter, but he's starting from that basis of Chinese brushstroke and trying to show personality in the way he uses the brush. And he's combining that with what he later learned about abstract expressionism. And again, this is a combination of the two approaches to art. A little bit about his collecting work. His collection of ancient Chinese paintings is consistently listed as one of the greatest collections in the world. In 1998, 25 paintings from his collection were given to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. One of the most important works in this group was the hanging scroll Riverbank by 10th century master Dong Yuan. I know I'm not pronouncing his name correctly, whose authenticity is being challenged still. But apparently it's a very important painting. This is one of his later works. You can see how he was adopting and adapting European style art to his use and love of calligraphy. So when we look at the more traditional Chinese paintings that he does, this I find so interesting. He is the last Chinese artist who used the traditional copying technique ever. He is the only artist who managed to escape communist China, who continued copying the Chinese masters successfully. And he was the last to survive. Several expatriates practiced the style, but he was the last to survive. So the last to practice it, and the style was not permitted in China after the revolution. So subsequent generations found it very difficult to pass the old traditions on one to another. And it died out with the expatriates who moved abroad. And that included Wang. Wang died July 3rd, 2003 in New York City. So not only was it a loss to the modern art community, but to the young artists who wanted to learn the traditional style of Chinese painting and calligraphy. He was the last of the last. Kind of amazing. This is one of his larger works. And he said, I'm going to show a short video clip too, in which he's interviewed. And he said he could look at a painting and know immediately who the artist was because he recognized the personality of the artist just by the brushstroke. Like it's like handwriting, yes.
Why would he copy somebody else's handwriting?
Because it's an art form. For Chinese people, calligraphy is a pure art form, not just a way to write language and convey meaning. That's a good question, Esty.
Know that because they use like this brush pen and do this, and when we learn, master holding the pen in the middle like that. So they used to, they have a skill, do a lot of graphic.
Thank you, Judy. So we're going to do a demonstration. If I could show that brush during the demonstration, Judy, I would be very grateful.
To do this, I'm not holding the very strong in the middle, cannot shaking, and you can have very freely do your shape and do your graphic what you want. just like the
So Judy is sharing with us that there are particular ways to hold the calligraphy brush, and calligraphy brushes look different from European and Western brushes. There are rules for doing calligraphy, very strict rules in the Chinese tradition. So again, this is one of his more modern works. This too. I know I have some of the traditional paintings in the slideshow, I hope, because they're pretty amazing also. Maybe not. Yikes. Well, I hope you like these abstract ones. Maybe I'm ending this slideshow with, yes. Okay, so it's a little blurry, but this is one of his more traditional calligraphic Chinese paintings. And he did, while in China, he started doing this while living in China. And he did many, many of these landscapes in which he practiced over and over and over again the exact way to hold the brush to create these beautiful effects in the rocks, in the clouds. This was something that Chinese artists spent their life trying to achieve, just the way you folks in every class that I see you in, you try to achieve the perfect picture. This too is very traditional, Judy, correct? This is traditional calligraphy. There's no landscape in it, but a very traditional image.
Excuse me, are there any, I think maybe I want to ask Judy, are there any actual letters incorporated in that?
Yes.
Yes, this is a word.
The guy in the picture like the bamboo. Bamboo on the mountain and write some Chinese portraits. There's some character in the weeds, the landscape on the mountain.
Yes. Like in the last painting we looked at, Connie, often you'll see a whole script or poem right next to the picture. And I thought I had some of those in this slideshow, but I don't.
What the stamp?
The stamps, yes. So often artists will stamp. Let's look at this one again, if we can. Well, we can look at it just leaving it up. Here's the stamp. This is the artist's signature. Yes, the red stamp.
Did he just paint that stamp?
No, it just he dips it in the red and then stamps it on the paper. So it's a cut stamp. Like a seal. Yes, exactly. All right, so I want to show, this is a really cool, Pat found this for us, video. Oops, I forgot to stop share. So I don't know. Maybe I have to open it again. Hold on, everybody, for a minute. I think I have to share it again and then stop share. Forgive me, everyone. Okay, good. So I'm going to try and show this video of C.C. Wang talking about his work. And then, oops, it's going to start really fast. Oh, but we have to skip the ad, so.
Choosing a background, seamless paper, chroma key, collapsible, fabric, canvas. What to choose? Let's
Carlos, can you
Here we
tell us
go.
something about when you say brush play?
Yeah,
How do you say that in Chinese, brush play?
笔墨.
笔墨.
Yeah, what Chinese 笔墨 is a brush and ink.
Yeah.
Actually, 笔墨 is one idea, is a line. The Chinese calligraph, 笔墨 the quality of brushwork developed from calligraphy. From the very beginning, maybe for 3,000 years ago, already we have the character. But the Chinese always, because maybe the brush, the reason when you use the brush, they already gradually develop the brush to show your personality. They consider it as a beauty of the brush, like the character, 篆书 and 隶书. 隶书 is on stone, 篆书 is on bronze. That's not using brush. But what they carve seems like a brush. I think this was especially the achievement of Chinese painting. If we don't understand the brush, Chinese painting nothing different from only subdivided. Just like watercolor. Watercolor is only by shadow. They have touch, of course, but it's not brush. Chinese brush is brush itself from the very beginning, before time. They only emphasize on the lines, like figures. Even landscape, only lines, nothing else. But after beginning from the time, then the brush becomes more and more complex, like this. This is the beginning of a complicated brushwork in the landscape. That's why Chinese always appreciate the beauty of the brush. Come to this period, become more and more complicated. I always compare the brush like singing. The early days like a folk song. It's very simple. But when you come to this, make more and more complicated. It's a song, same as the brush. The brush is so highly developed. That's why if you look at painting without brush, that's not Chinese painting. It's another type. The quality of Chinese brushing, Chinese painting is developed highly in the brush in many ways.
Do you mean that the technique of doing
Technique
certain kinds of
is
strokes?
a technique. Because beyond the technique, you have your personality. For instance, you're singing. You have a good voice. You can sing high and low and play with your voice. That's not only technique. You have more personality in beauty, the voice. But now Chinese painting is personality, beauty in the brush. The brush could be line, could be flat, could be dots, could be any kind of things with the brush, because what brush is not the same as the brush the Western brush wall. Only if I paint something, this is brush, but this brush no personality. Because if you use your brush paint the wall, I can use the same brush paint the same thing as you did, but the Chinese brush is so sensitive. The line shows the personality.
Okay.
See, I can act pumped up for the end. I'm the one friend.
Sorry, folks. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna try and stop this video. There we go.
do that. At the time, you can exit out of the tab.
Yeah.
There you go. Escape.
Sorry about that. It looks like it got hijacked by an ad. But wasn't that kind of cool to see and listen to the artist talk about the personality of the brush and the line and how important it is to the Chinese artist? He said, anybody can paint a wall. And the next person can come along and paint the wall and be exactly the same. But in Chinese art, the brush is so sensitive that you can see the personality of the artist in the work.
The simplicity of the work is to focus all your talent into just the one line or something. You don't need any elaborate.
And I agree with that, except the work to me is not simple. I think it's quite complex. The Chinese landscape is quite complex.
It reduced it into what appears to be simple, but it's that entire personality and the.
Yes, personality definitely comes through. All right, so now I'm going to do a demonstration because today we are going to use a calligraphic line to create our own either abstract work of art, or if you want to do something representational, you can. Those of you who are here, I'm going to show you a way you can do it on paper, but also a way you can do it on plexiglass sheets. Those of you who are at home, I thought of the plexiglass sheet idea rather late, and I was unable to include it in the email that I sent out to you. But you have the option, if you have an old piece of art under glass at home, in a frame and under glass, and you don't like the art anymore, you can pull that thing apart and take the glass out, and you can do the project that I'm going to demonstrate on Plexi. You can use it on that piece of glass. If you've done reverse glass painting with Ibu before, this is going to seem familiar to you. Any questions? And if you don't have that glass available to you, you can do this project on paper. So I'm going to show you both options. Any questions? Folks at home, paper, if you have acrylic paints or watercolor paints, this would work with. You could do it with marker if you do not have paints, or any kind of color drawing equipment that you may have. Folks here, I'm going to get set up for the demonstration. You can start taking paint and paper. Please be sensitive to the fact that we are in shared space. There are paper plates. If you want to pour paint out, please do it carefully. There are brushes. There are red plastic cups for water. And the water is in a pitcher on the back table. You can pour the water into the cups if you need it. There are also small little like applesauce jars that have paint in it. Some of the paint tops are difficult to unscrew, but you can go to the ladies' room and pour water over it, and it should be easier to unscrew the tops. You can bring the whole small jar of paint to your table. Don't do the mixing of colors in the jars. Please mix on the paper plate so we can keep the colors in the little jars clean. There are pencils if you need it. Don't take the Plexi and the black Sharpies yet. I want to show you how to use that first. The Plexi's in a box, the markers are on the table, but don't take that yet. Any questions? All right, let's get the materials that we need, and in a moment, I'm going to start the demo. Do you want me to unpin now, Laura, or do you want to wait till the camera's?
Okay. Yeah, that way, Bobby. Thank you. Yeah.
Remove pin. Okay. This is not serious, this is fun.
It's really people.
It's fun with a purpose. No one does.
Must be how I
No one knows what they're gonna do. No, by the time we have that show, I'm gonna convince you that you're gonna sign your work and be proud of it. Just a heads up, if you're using the blue paint from the big bottle, make sure the top is on really well first, and then you have to shake it. The solids have separated from the liquid. It's there. Make sure the top is on there tightly. Shake it first. This is me. Laura. Very runny, honey, so when you pick up your plate, be careful. So I just, the blue just ran into my yellow. We're good to go on the demo. So I recommend that people come and watch or look on the big screen. The folks at home, and they're gonna do the demo. You might wanna watch. Oh, I forgot black. Black. Let's put the black in there. There's only a little. I have a black. I brought a whole jar of black. Hold on, everybody. I wanna make sure I put the black paint out, because black is important with what we're doing today.
to happen in different languages.
Oh, here, no, this I.
Upside down.
That's
You
so-
draw on the other side.
Now we're good to go. First, I'm gonna show you how you can do this project on paper.
Liz,
Yes.
the camera is facing a wall with a lamp on it. Is that where you want it?
Hold on. Well, that's weird. I'm looking at it.
We're working on fixing it, Dina. Thank you for letting us know.
Okay, bye.
That's for how about now?
How does it look now, Dina? Should be good.
Looks great.
Okay, thank you. So if you recall from C.C. Wong's work, there were a lot of black lines. And that's because he started every painting with those calligraphy strokes. If I were doing traditional Chinese calligraphy, I would start with black ink. This is traditional Chinese calligraphy ink. It's quite thin. You can thin it with water if you want a grayer tone, or you can use it straight from the bottle to get that beautiful black. We're not using calligraphy ink today, but I have brought a lot of black paint. If we were doing Chinese calligraphy, you would be using a traditional calligraphy brush. This is a sample, an example of what one looks like. This one is so well used. Pat lent me hers. It's really been used to the point where it's completely ruined. So that the tip of the brush no longer has a shape. Judy, is yours in better shape? Could I show your brush to people? So they come in all different shapes and sizes. And yeah, Judy's is in beautiful shape. So usually they're a very nice point at the tip. And they're held in different ways, usually at the top, correct, Judy?
Yes.
And the calligraphers practice and practice so that they have a very fluid line in their work. Just the way we do gestural drawing, the Chinese calligraphers do this kind of very loose stroke. This is less important to me today. We don't have time to learn calligraphy today. Thank you.
Use that.
I'm not gonna use it today. But this is the kind of brush that C.C. Wong always used in his work, because much as he loved the European abstract art and aesthetic, he always started with traditional Chinese technique. Just like he said in the video we listened to. I forgot to get water. Never mind. So, thank you, Sally. Completely opposite from what I usually tell you, I want you to start with black today. And I want you to just play with line. And think about using the line as the basis of the image that you make. Try not to think too hard about what you're doing. If you are doing an abstract image, just vary the kind of line that you make. Maybe some should be straight, some can be curved, some can be pointy, some can be what we call dry brush. See how that line doesn't have that much paint on it and it has a bit of texture to it. Some can be more wet and fluid. Some could even be dotted. C.C. Wong said, line has character, it changes. And use the line to divide up your space. Some of it can be wide and thick. And after you've divided up your space, then start thinking about color and play. Fill in the shapes that you created. I should say, make sure your lines touch the edges of the paper in multiple places. You don't want to leave your composition open-ended. Make it an enclosed image. So now you have shapes to fill in. If you want to make a landscape, this actually has a landscape feel to it, I would recommend you turn it horizontally so that you can establish your horizon line, your top and bottom. But the same idea applies. Make sure you use line to create your shapes. So let's pretend that's a mountain. Maybe you want a tree. Use the line to establish where your shapes will go. The black line is kind of your mistress or master in this painting. And then have fun with color. You can mix. And you can play. Now, those of you who are worried about getting the black into your color, you can wait a little bit till the black dries. A little bit. I'm not going to worry about it. Remember color theory that we've been working on for a long time. My blue has already destroyed my yellow, so I'm going to go with that. Yellow and blue make green. I love green juxtaposed with yellow, so I'm going to go with it.
Nice.
Color mixing to me is one of the great art experiences. And with this kind of picture, you can really experiment because now you have multiple options for color. So that's what you can do on paper. Any questions so far with the paper project? Good to go. Anybody at home have questions? Nothing in the
Nope,
chat?
all good.
All good. All right, so those of you at home who are lucky to have glass, or maybe you even have these kinds of plexi sheets. Those of you who are elementary school teachers, you may have these. They're called overhead transparencies. Back in the day, we used these a lot. Those of you who've done reverse glass painting with Hebrew, this is just like that. But those of you who are here, we're going to do it with plexi today. And I've chosen this option because it's a great way to think about line. So this is a piece that I started on plexi, it's not finished. This is the front. I did all the work on the back. Now, those of you who are here, you're lucky because you're going to have the option to feel both sides. And you'll know right away that this is the back of the piece because you can feel the paint. It's very textured on the back. The way I did it is almost exactly the way I did the work on paper. I started with line. You can do it with paint, but I recommend on the plexi that you take a Sharpie and you create whatever it is you want to draw with the Sharpie. And you can do a complete abstraction again. You don't have to do deep thought, just have fun. Divide your space using lines. And you can make as many shapes as you want. When I did this image, I was thinking about the dolls that I make. So I was in a workshop that Eva was teaching, and he just told me, he told the people in the workshop to make whatever they want, and you can do that today too. I started with black lines using Sharpie. So once you've drawn the lines, you start painting. And you work on the back, the same side that you drew the lines on. You don't flip it over. You stay on the same side and you paint. So it's the same process as what you did on the paper. I would recommend you do your smaller shapes first. It just is easier. And now it becomes just a process of color. Choosing colors. What do you think looks good with what? Mixing and making choices. And if you're doing the work on the plexi, you want to put a piece of paper underneath so that you can see what you're doing as you go. Put a piece of white paper underneath so you can keep track of what you're doing. Connie has a question. Go ahead, Connie. Thank you. I love questions.
Since when you do an outburst painting, you layer of paint, so how do you figure what's going to be like the foremost of the paint?
Well, every once in a while you can look at the other side. But the layer you put down first is always going to be the most visible. Then, though, you have to remember what's the back. It's not hard. Okay. You can always keep taking a sneak peek at the front. Good question. Any other questions? So the plexi is in a box back there. People using glass, it's the same process as using the plexi. Judy is doing a traditional literati, Chinese literati painting. Awesome, thank you. It's impressive.
You want to put an image up? Or you wanna leave that?
I'm gonna put an image up.
Okay.
Yeah, and when you're done with the black, Daniel, could you put it back at the back? It's actually Pat's ink, so if you could use it just a little bit. She lent it to me just to show.
And then some people came in, but we were.
It belongs to Pat. It's not mine.
No, they kind of say you. I use it.
You could use a little bit.
Well, sorry, some people came in after you made the announcement about September, the art festival.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat.
And then even Danny, some people came in the room after you mentioned, I think.
Danny, did you hear we're gonna have an art show in September at the library book fair?
More or less. More or less.
More or less.
Because I heard about it, not enough too much information about it, right?
Well, we don't have a whole lot of information, except we're gonna have a 20 by 20 foot tent. So you can show your art.
Oh,
It would be very cool. I hope you consider showing your art.
All
And
right.
we'll know more about it as we get closer to September.
All right,
Laura and I both will keep you informed.
all right, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Mr. C.C. Wong. There are actually quite a few videos about him on YouTube. So if you're interested, anybody wants to use up my links? Anybody? Yes?
Maybe.
Good, you're gonna try the Plexi. It's a lot of fun.
But I was just wondering, it's supposed to be the medium, or is there an advantage using?
It's just fun. It's a lot of fun. And it's actually a West African technique. I believe it originated in India. And then Indian traders brought it to West Africa. In West Africa, it's become a huge, big deal. It's become a very good part of the artistic tradition in West Africa, and it's only done on glass, not on plexiglass. Only on glass. I put an image of it, it's one of the big way, so no one uses. Right. And
All the members.
thank you for letting me know. It's so cool. He's just terrific. Great. Show up tonight. It's clean. So I have to put an image on the screen. I'm going to put an image of Mr. Wong's work on the screen for those who want to look at it. And I love the whole Chinese tradition of copying other artists' artwork. I think it's just a wonderful way to learn how to do your own artwork.
Oh, plagiarism.
What, Daniel?
Is it copying plagiarism?
No, not in the world of art. Art is the one place.
Try to sell.
Right,
as a.
as your own.
Okay.
But for centuries, even in Europe, artists learn from the masters by looking at other artists' artwork. You go to any great art museum in the world and you'll see art students copying others' artwork.
Right, Liz?
I'm sorry? Michelangelo copied the Greeks and the Romans. That's how they learned. And he was an apprentice to another artist. Right. So that is the difference. If you, oh, this has, sorry, I'm going to get rid of this image. It's a cover of a book. If you sell it as your own work, that's wrong, obviously, but I really can't think of a single artist who has not in some way been influenced by another artist. Okay, so folks at home, I hope you can see this C.C. Wang abstraction, and you can see that the basis of his painting is Chinese, traditional Chinese calligraphy. So he successfully married Eastern and Western art traditions to make what I think is a very interesting work of art. Dan, you want a tablecloth? We can move this tablecloth to your. Oh, no, we can't. Never mind.
No, I see.
It's going to be really uninhibited. Yeah. This is bad. Okay, yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know what else to call it. Oh, okay.
Something.
Oh,
It's a capacity.
I don't know. Let's look on the box. It's not thick like plexi, but it's some kind of glass.
Great.
Transparency film for copy. That's what it is. And it's just too long to say. So I thought,
One can dream. Right?
absolutely not. Oil-based, nasty
It'll live
stuff.
forever.
Nasty stuff. That's why we want to use it for art. Love that color. You want to repurpose it. Use it for something meaningful. Have you studied calligraphy for a long time?
No, just try out.
It's very nice. Okay.
But something.
Mountains are especially beautiful. Keep going. Just looking for help on Friday. Interesting. Stuff. She gave me one of her rhinestones. You wanna check it out? You know he loves stuff.
Trying to get rid of.
Since he just gets cleaning out her students. Try and go on Friday to help. So not yet, so they don't even know where they're gonna live. Because I guess he runs his business studio, so he has to keep. A tip, if the paint is too thin, you can add a little white to it. So this paint is watery. Let me get some white. White will thicken it up. Nice, clean new white paint in the white jars. So only thing I ask is you use a clean brush. So just scoop the white out and put it on here and then mix on here. Thank you.
I can't enjoy this effect.
I'm sorry.
I won't use that.
It's fun, right? It's so nice and smooth and yeah. Paint goes on so easily. Hello, Sasha. How are we doing at home, everyone?
Doing good.
Yay. I'm thrilled. I don't know if you all, those of you at home, heard that we are going to have an art show of the artists in this class during the September Hoboken Library Book Fair. Laura had the terrific idea that we have a tent. So we're going to have a 20-foot by 20-foot tent.
Excellent.
I'm glad you approved. Dina, you got a lot to show.
Well, we're overdue for an art show, aren't we?
We are definitely overdue for an art show. And then I'm going to put in the chat box, I'm in 2 shows that are opening this weekend. Oh, I have to look up the exact address. Cathedral Arts. I think I sent it out in an email, but I'll put it in the chat. It's Grace Church Van Vorst. Just give me the street address, please. "39 Erie Street." That was called Cathedral Arts. Grace Church Van Vorst. 39 Erie Street, Jersey City. And that opens Saturday, May 18th. That's the opening night. I have to find out how many weeks it's up for. And then I'm also in a show at Mana Contemporary called Infancia. And that is 888 Newark Avenue, Jersey City, and that opens Sunday, May 19th. But unless it rains, I'm going to be here at the Hoboken Art and Music Festival. This is what I fondly call art silly season. There's a lot going on this weekend here in New York City. Check it all out if you can. Oh, Courtney, I'm sorry. Did you eventually hear the demo? Yikes. I hope.
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. Liking what I'm seeing. Ooh, red is fabulous. Judy. I like that pop of color. It's just awesome. Very nice. And you. Okay, so you want to start thinking now about how to bring it all together, bring it on home. You have many different colors and shapes in it. You might want to start thinking about uniform. Do you want to go white? You could start using the colors you have and adding white to them. So keep with the color palette that you have, but maybe change them subtly, but not adding more to it.
When you say something like this, you consider it not so subtle.
Right, so you have now 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors. So I think it's enough with the color change, but you could do something very subtle, like just add white to the colors that you already have. That would start unifying. I mean, like in the empty spaces that you could take this green and add some white to it. And start putting it in the empty spaces. Or this blue and add some white to it. And put it in some yeah. So not adding completely different colors in that, but colors in the same family, but slightly different. I think you have enough. And I love how some of it's dry brush, some of it's fluid.
I like it sort of leave it over the line.
Yeah.
I like to trust.
So I think you have a lot of variety, but it may be time to start unifying. Well, it can happen if we're using the same color. Okay. Try experimenting at the edge. That would be my suggestion too. You're maybe at the stage where you want to start pulling it together. The lightness. And eventually. Yeah. That one woman whose dress was so tight, they had to pick her up to carry her up the steps.
I think she had the sand made, what did it was sand, the dress made of sand.
It was made to look like sand.
No, it was sand,
Literally sand.
sand, she couldn't walk, it was very made
And a
up.
lot of them
It's
can't.
so tight.
And
It was
apparently,
so incredibly tight.
when they get in the room, right, their cell phones, and a lot of their cell phones at the afternoon. So,
To talk to each other.
yeah, and some of them couldn't sit down, they had to stand up.
She couldn't, that's for sure.
It's cut down your arm and you can't move your arm, so you know, like do this.
They couldn't sit down, they couldn't eat.
Like that and the dog collar, you could go in.
We couldn't eat. That's the point. Very nice. And it's very much your own work, even though copy somebody else. It's gonna be terrific. And you can also do this. If you don't like it, you can paint over it, smooth it out, but you can also. Yeah. It's fine, yeah. It's just another technique. But if you don't like that, you can smooth it out with a brush. It's great. Love it. You too, you can scratch. Ever shown you how to do the scratching with the hard end of the brush? Yeah, if you want. Great companion. Put together. Now you're gonna have to do an orange and a blue.
And
And
so
a violet and a yellow.
at the moment too, it will be enough. I don't think that.
You sure?
Yeah, because I should let them paint dry before, and or early.
Maybe finish that one and then see how you feel.
Yeah, and no, I actually need it because I have to let the paint, water dry before I take it home.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but at the new class then.
I can't, I usually
Yes,
can't.
you need to stay, get up there.
Yeah, it's fine.
How's your mom?
Yeah.
Question me.
The veracity.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, it's always slow when you need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Primary example, I think it needs to be mold, totally fine.
She's so young. She looks. very you. Personality is coming through the brush, Julie. It's what I like the texture, but it may be a little too heavy, a little bit too much. So you might want to, not all of it, but you might want to smooth some of the white away, but not yet. Do everything else and come back to that lash. Okay, you can always take a slightly wet brush and smooth some of it away, but I like it. So I don't want to see you get rid of it. Okay? That's, I couldn't articulate what it was. These are so sharp edge, you need more definition everywhere else. Okay. Yeah, so the dark black frame would be. Look better from the front. You might want to fill in some of the shapes, and maybe a little bit too texture. Okay. Not all of it, but some of it maybe fill in. So several of you are using the markers in the paint. Just if you wouldn't mind at cleanup time, take a paper towel and make sure you wipe the tips of the markers. Trying to get all the paint off the tip of the marker at cleanup time. Yeah, I want you to make sure there's no paint on the marker at cleanup time. Okay. Just terrific. Keep going. Because if the paint dries on the tip of the marker won't work anymore. Yeah, this paint, I don't know what it is. It's kind of slimy, right? Yeah, you gotta mix it with white, thicken it up. But this is very nice. Want me to put some fresh yellow in your hat? It's okay. What do you think?
I didn't like it. I don't like it. And abstract is not exactly my style. I tried. Also, I do know a little bit about calligraphy art because I did study some, and, you know, I do know how to jet art, you know, the stuff. I was never practiced the stuff, but I know about it. Mhm. Although I do remember that I did make a small bit, kind of like one of those classes back home. It was something like a random class.
It's challenging.
Usually tended to find it boring because, well, and there's not enough freedom for them.
It's very, very constrained.
Oh.
Very much like, it's kind of like a martial art almost. You have to follow the master, do exactly what they tell you. Fun to consider. One little tiny bit. Sprinkle the yellow. And that one, not everywhere in this one, just something small. Maybe.
I'll keep it more simple this one. The color project here was experimental. This one I'm gonna keep it a little simple.
Okay. You like that?
Sometimes less is more.
Always, your decision.
Yeah. Or sometimes less is more.
Yes, absolutely. I believe in that philosophy.
Mhm.
Absolutely believe. I don't live that philosophy, but I believe in it wholeheartedly. Folks at home, we're good. We can share in another maybe 10 minutes if you like.
Liz, what time is class this afternoon?
Class starts at 1 p.m. and goes till 3. We will be looking at the same artist, and you'll have the opportunity to try interpreting or being inspired by his work in a new and different way, if you like, or continue what you started this morning.
Probably continue.
Good. That makes me happy. Whatever floats your boat. Margot, I'm looking at the drawing you have up. It's kind of reminding me of traditional Chinese literati painting.
Really? Interesting.
Something about the trees and the cloudy sky.
Yeah, it's like black and white, so. not
Yeah,
much,
maybe that's it.
maybe
There's not a whole lot of color in
in Chinese. Yeah, I'm
in the
doing
literati.
so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you can Google, just Google
Hmm.
either Chinese calligraphy or Chinese literati.
Literati. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
I'll put that in the chat.
I know how to spell it.
I'm going to put it in for everybody, not just you.
I got you.
I'm not sure how to spell it. I think I know.
Literati.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Right.
One thing you could do is repeat this. Go for it. You do what you want to do. I'm offering suggestions.
I like to see complete.
That's what I do. That's what I believe teachers should do. Like very dark lines. They really come alive. Yeah. It is a technique of layering, right? Letting the paper dry, adding more dark. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's a You could do a whole solid color without to fill in all the empty spaces. I don't know black. White. White may be better. Um, I'll let it. And don't rub real hard because you may wash away the wine. Yeah, I wish you would. That's something like orange. Right. Well, here that is subdued as a. I don't know, try what? Try it in one spot first, see how it looks. Oh, I love the red salad. Yeah.
That's
Nice. It goes beautifully with the green. When you mix the color, I'm proud of you. Shows split spot. You know what that means? Split spot? I know. No, you know. Doesn't show. Show me, hold it up. Here. Yeah, it does. It does? Yep. Like it. That's wonderful thing. That's fun. This is really a fabulous thing. I don't know why, it just is. There's the brush strokes, there's just so much motion and rhythm in it. It really works beautifully. I feel like we need some, maybe the red trim down here, yeah, it'll unify, it'll mirror this and it'll bring the whole thing together. I want to see it from the front. Can I hold it up just for a minute? Dan. All right, what time is it? 1 minute till sharing time. Do you want to share or do you want to keep working? Who wants to share? Raise your hand if you want to share. That's a complete 0%. Oh, Dina wants to share. All right, Dina, I'm going to stop the share of this painting.
okay. I wanted to share because I've been working on Japanese woodcuts, and this is from a very famous design, 1733, by a guy named Kitagawa Utamaro.
Wow.
I
Love it.
started to do this on rice paper with watercolor, but I haven't mastered rice paper yet.
Rice paper is really.
Wow.
I
Plus-
was using too much water. It was wrinkling. Anyway, this is marker, pen and ink, and black colored pencil. There we go.
Pretty
Wow.
fab.
I'm not done. I still have some design. I've got to find my gold pen.
So you're gonna come back this afternoon, right?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. All right. Pretty terrific. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing. And maybe that's a keeper for the art show.
You're muted. Dina, you're muted.
Yeah, we missed the final comment you made. You
No,
were
I said it's tiny. It's only 5x7, which is what I'm doing most of my
So
initial
what?
work on. And then I
like,
blow it up.
you like big and little work.
Yes.
Anyone else? Courtney, want to share?
Sure.
Wow.
Wow.
I love it. I love it. What are you using? Paint or?
Charcoal and pastel.
Very nice. Very nice. I like your colors.
Thank you. So using a sunset for inspiration.
Bravo. What sun?
Well, there isn't actually one in here, but that's okay.
No, I meant in our real world. We don't have any sun anymore. No, but
That's
this,
true.
love your shapes too.
Thank you.
Very nice. All right. Anyone else? Margot, Robin?
No, I'm doing something different. So
Okay. You can always send me JPEGs. Robin, you want to share? It's like you do.
Yeah, I just finished this painting to give away that I started last week, so I thought I would just,
Oh, I
Oh.
love this one. I remember this one from
yeah,
last.
and I put the tablecloth on and changed the background and stuff like that, so it was just fun. And she likes persimmons, so
yeah, the persimmons.
It's glorious color. I love, love, love the color in this painting.
Very
thank you.
Matisse.
And the shading in the tablecloth.
Very Matisse.
Thanks. Oh, that's great. Okay.
Is it it's watercolor?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Really well done.
And I started a reverse painting, which I'm letting
Oh, very nice.
dry. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm getting back into it, having learned it from your husband.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens with that.
Excellent. You know, you can scratch.
I am thinking of it because, yes.
Don't let it get too dry though, because then it becomes difficult.
Oh, okay. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I
All
do
right.
have to leave now, so.
Not a
thanks.
problem. Thank you for coming and see you either this afternoon or next week, whatever works for you.
Next week for sure.
Okay, take care, Robin. All right, anyone here? There's so many beautiful paintings. Daniel, you want to share? Come on up.
Excuse me, it's a little bit wet, so it's kind of fluffy.
Speaking of color, I think it's magnificent color.
Yes, love the red. Oh, the blue is great. Wow.
You're
Strong
definitely
line.
companion pieces, don't you think? And very calligraphic. Well done, Daniel. Daniel shared with me that he's taken a calligraphy class. Lucky Daniel.
Not exactly, yeah. Like I said, it was something random that happened. That's cool.
Judy, do you want to? So Judy has taken the traditional Chinese literati route with her painting. She's been using her calligraphy brush.
Wow,
That's fun. Great job. Ooh, I love the pink
that
flower.
is gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Well done. And you can tell it's Judy's painting, right? She really is proving the rule that the personality of the artist shows through.
Okay, thank you.
I love the dark lines, most especially in that. Connie? It's up to you.
If you want to look, I don't want to upset anybody's vision.
This is my masterpiece.
Is this the first abstraction you've ever done? Or
I
Connie is our
can't
newest
really
student?
say.
I love this. I love the textural effects she created, the shapes she created. You can turn it many different directions. I like it this way
Yeah, I
a
thought
lot.
so too. Yeah, better, right?
a lot.
Yeah, better.
And she's
Great
been
color.
experimenting, learning a lot of stuff. Great job.
Thank you.
Come, come, come. All right, here comes another painting. It's just magnificent, I think. Look at this one.
Ah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
A lot of great brush work in this one. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Anybody who did the reverse glass technique? Esty? Want to share yours? Oh, no, here comes Sally. She beat you to it. Right. Look at the superb colors in Sally's. I love this. The red and the green. Well done, Sally. Woo.
Like your doll too. Very cool.
She was looking at my picture. It's a great way to learn. Good. Very good today, Sally. Congrats.
Okay, I need a more track piece.
One is making a resin.
Essie or Heather, you want to show now? Yes. Please.
Another class for us to take. Starts with injury.
Very nice.
Oh, I'm about to.
Oh,
Fashionistas, you got to come more this way. I love it. Look at this great texture she's created in her image.
Wow.
very cool.
Layer.
Yeah.
But it's
Very
great.
cool.
Yeah, leave it there. For easy access.
Easy access. I don't get it. But I love it. How are you going to get it home? That's the problem. Tomorrow, you want to show yours?
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. See you soon. Come again. Tomorrow. No, you don't want to share? Next time. Okay. Are you going to come this afternoon or next week? Oh, she's going to be here this afternoon. All right. Awesome. All right. So there's a few more minutes. I'm not going to say goodbye just yet. Those of you who are here, please start cleaning up. And you are all welcome back this afternoon. Those of you who are at home, or those of you who come back in person, tell everyone you know about our classes. I'm sorry, Daniel, as usual.
Yeah, great. And I have some cross short. I'm all right. I'm not aware that it doesn't buy YouTube animation. And also I'm still trying to recover from this.
Oh, you had that? I heard that stomach virus that people are getting. It's awful.
You know, and although that kind of happened in 2020, started out with me also. although I don't completely down, but don't worry, don't worry.
Stand
I
back.
kind of stole other race. It's not contagious also,
Oh, good.
but I don't, it's not a virus, it's has a few months. It's from the family.
Oh. So you feel better today?
Tolerable, let's say.
Okay.
They're not tolerable.
Please keep improving.
Oh, no, by the way, unfortunately, your dermatologist doesn't have my insurance. Don't worry about it, I'll keep searching.
Yeah.
But,
Hemoglobin, yes.
all right, thank you
I
very
did
much.
not yet, no.
All right, thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
All right, Daniel. See you next week, I hope. Feel better.
All right.
Yeah, there's still a few more minutes. Those of you who are at home, you can keep working. Bye, Judy. See you soon. Thank you for sharing about calligraphy. That was awesome. There's another bathroom on this side, Connie, if you don't want to wait. Oh. Somebody might have been using it.
No, they had a sign up that
Oh,
wasn't open. You know what I wanted
there's
to
one
say?
upstairs too, if you want to
It's
take the
interesting
elevator.
That he concentrated on the brushstroke and the individual coming, the personality coming through the brushstroke.
Yes.
Was he familiar like with like the post-impressionists?
Yeah, he
You know,
was,
it's
he
supposed to be-
studied everything. He was a brilliant academic, apparently. So he went from studying law to studying art. He fell in love with art and he did a lot of research into all different kinds of art. Yeah.
Because it's interesting that he took like the most traditional form, like maybe one of the most ancient forms. And in my mind, it joins with those artists who wanted the brushstroke to come through, like the abstract impressionists later on.
Yes.
Like they wanted to see the brushstroke. And I think
Yes.
like with the post-impressionists too.
Yes,
wanted to see
people
it.
like Van Gogh,
Right, it's
right?
it's
Yeah,
interesting.
that is
That's-
interesting.
It's a nice, interesting.
There's your
connection.
doctoral thesis, Lady
Oh,
Grant.
yes, I'm going back to school. Never, never.
Me either.
No,
Life is too much fun to go to school.
This is feeling busy, but I mean, I can still have nightmares. I had a class and I didn't remember and I had to do a term paper. I mean, what a thing they do.
Yes.
It's like imprinting prison. Really. You know,
Yeah.
with people who've been in prison, you know, because the way they walk.
I think that's why I became a teacher, because so much of school was torturous.
Isn't it? Yeah, it seems so stupid, really.
Yeah, I don't know why they made it that way, but let me just say goodbye to the folks at home. No, don't apologize. Yes. So folks at home, I am going to say goodbye now. I hope you enjoyed this class, and if you can, come back this afternoon. If not, I look forward to seeing you next week. I'm not sure, do we have 1 or 2 more Wednesdays in May?
Probably 2.
Probably 2. I'm going to double check the calendar. Yeah, we have 2 more Wednesdays in May. So I look forward to celebrating with you Asian Pacific Islander and Hawaiian American Heritage Month for 2 more lessons.
1 o'clock today.
And also at 1 o'clock today, we have that second class, if you can make it. All right, good luck, art on, have fun.